Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Insufferable with me, your host, Lindsay. Episode 61. How is everyone doing? I have the fan on above me. I hope you cannot hear it. If you can, yeah, I'm sorry about that. It doesn't click or anything, but it is blowing the wind around. Um, Hey, what's up, you guys? I am so fucking tired today. I don't know what it is. Lethargy does not even begin to describe it. Like, I am so fucking sleepy. And I did sleep until 11 a.m. today. I haven't really gotten a lot of sleep over like the last couple of days. So I thought, catching up on some sleep, sleeping in would be cool. Sleeping in for me is like 9:30. Okay. 11 a.m. is crazy work. And I woke up not refreshed at all. I felt groggy and I felt like, where am I when I woke up? It's all bad. Okay. And today is my last possible day that I have to film this because it comes out tomorrow. Oh, yeah. Yeah, this episode comes out tomorrow. I gotta edit and upload it tonight. Um, you know, Not the worst thing I'll ever have to do, but yeah, I was supposed to film on Thursday and then I didn't. Then I was supposed to film on Friday and then I didn't. And then Saturday, I was out on the water all day kayaking with my brother, so I didn't film. And now it's Sunday and I'm groggy and I'm like, all right, I have to do it though. Like, I have to do it. There's like no option. So, Aria, get out of here, girl. Go on now. Um, but yeah, we're here. Do we have a topic to talk about? Not really. Not really. And I'll tell you why. Because I saw the Odyssey. I saw the Odyssey and it was great. Okay. I'll say that. It was great, especially after seeing it, hearing about how it was filmed and the practical effects and the fact that they shot it on IMAX and they had to build a barrier box around the IMAX camera so that they were able to film and capture the sound with it and da 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 da. That all made it much better for me. Okay, I love a post talk movie situation. Okay, I feel like a lot of people would like movies a lot more if they were able to talk to the directors and the cast afterwards. Kind of hear about a little behind the scenes. You guys remember DVDs? You guys remember DVDs and Blu-ray discs? I don't know if you guys remember those or not, but those were that's how you used to buy physical media, okay? And one of the major perks of buying a DVD or a Blu-ray was you got all these behind the scenes, like, there was like a whole BTS section of the DVD where you could see how they filmed it, interviews with the actors and the director and the DP and all this kind of stuff. And that used to be like one of the top appeals of buying DVDs is you got all this extra stuff about the movie, okay? And back in those days people appreciated movies a lot more. Probably because they were getting that kind of access to how we were watching it, like how it was made and all that. So, yeah, I would love a talk back. I would love a talk back about the Odyssey because, as you guys know, I am a real big stickler for storytelling and, good movies that make you think, that make you question, that make you wonder. Okay. I have never read the Odyssey. Okay. I don't know how I got through school without having read the Odyssey, or maybe I blocked it out of my mind. But everyone that I know is like, everyone reads the Odyssey in high school. Not me, sister. Not around here, partner. I do not remember reading the Odyssey if we did. Okay. If you went to my high school, let me know if you read the Odyssey. Because I also didn't take a second language in high school either. You know, we were supposed to have taken at least one second language class in high school. Everybody took Spanish. There was a German class, there was a French class, there was an ACL class, I'm pretty sure. and I did not take them. And everyone was trying to tell me like you can't graduate if you don't have credits of Spanish credits or whatever. And low key, I regret that every day. I didn't work around it. I didn't not want to take the class. They just didn't tell me I had to. And of course, I wanted to take more drama classes and acting classes, and I had the sewing class, like the fashion and textiles class and stuff like that. Like I chose to do those. I didn't do PE, I did dance. I didn't do home ec, I did fashion and textiles. And I didn't do a second language because I was doing drama and all those other things. And nobody ever said anything to me. So that is why. But I'm pissed. I wish I would have taken a Spanish class. I'm so pissed that I don't speak Spanish. And I really need to like get down to the nitty gritty and get on fucking Duolingo or something. Who doesn't speak Spanish? That's so lame. It's so lame to not speak Spanish, in my opinion. Any kind of second language, really. Anytime someone like in a racist tone is like, you better speak English when you're around me, I always like to say, oh, you only know one language? Oh, that sucks. It's kind of embarrassing for you. That's a fun roast I like to do. I've done it a couple of times and it does land well. And by well, I mean the person who was just being racist is a little bit embarrassed. Like, oh shit, you're right. I do only speak one language. That is kind of low brow of me. Okay. But that roast is coming from me, someone who only speaks one language, which is lame, in my opinion. I need to start speaking Spanish. I'm going to write that in the stars. I'm going to manifest that. Manifest me getting the, motivation to sign up for Duolingo or whatever the fuck. If you guys know of a language learning app, um, let a bitch know because I really want to speak Spanish. I think we should, especially living in California, bro. I used to work in a warehouse where half of the staff only spoke Spanish, no English, and the other half only spoke English, no Spanish. And it was difficult to give direction to the other person who didn't speak the same language as you. You know what I mean? Like if a Spanish speaker in the warehouse was trying to direct me on how to package something or whatever we're doing in the warehouse, and I'm over here like, duh, I don't know what you're saying. That's lame. That's lame. I should be able to understand them. So, yeah, I'm about to do. And you know what? I was also going to propose to management at that warehouse, like, hey, what would be really cool is if you guys paid for a company subscription to a Duolingo type situation. Okay. Everyone will be very much um more inclined to do this if they don't have to pay for it themselves. And it's an investment on your part. This is a business investment, ensuring that everyone can communicate with each other in this warehouse. Okay? And low key, I really wanted to learn Spanish for free. And they never did it. I don't even know if I pitched it actually. I pitched it to my personal manager, but I don't think it was ever pitched to like upper management. But that's a fucking good idea, by the way. That's a good idea. You know how like companies can get like a group rate for like gym passes, and then like they pay like X amount a month, out of the business account, and that allows all of us to have a gym pass at this one gym. You know what I mean? Like they should do that for Duolingo. That's crazy. Like that's such a good idea. Um yeah, I should be able to speak Spanish. And I never did. Okay. And so everything that happened in high school, girl, I do not know what happened in high school. I know that I was Patty Simcox in Greece and I stole the fucking show. I stole the fucking show, bitch. I was so good. Okay. We had this choreographer come in from Disney to do the choreography for our Grease. I don't know why. I don't know why we had all of these like important people in the industry come in on that show and do all of this. Like they literally came to my high school from Disney Imagineers and choreographed our Grease production. Like I still to this day don't know why they did that. But um I remember that guy telling me this is your show. This is your show. And I'm like, stop. I'm just Patty Simcox. I mean, I auditioned for Sandy. I fucking did, bitch. But I didn't get Sandy, which is kind of lame. I could have crushed it. But the girl who did get Sandy was like actually like an actual singer. I think she's like a professional singer now. So shout out to her. Um we had a good Grease production actually, now that I think about it. I mean, I feel like every high school has done Grease, but it's so fun. We go together like grandma llama llama, a dingity dingy dong. Dude, imagine reading the lyrics to that in a book, like in the music book for your rehearsal. Like when you're in a musical, you go in 3 days, you do dance rehearsals, 3 days you do singing and acting rehearsal for the show or whatever. They like break it up that way. And you have your music book with all the music in it. Okay? Imagine opening up your fucking book, reading "We Go Together" like "Shamalama Lama, a dingity dingy dong." Okay? And also too, by the way, you can't wing those lyrics too, because you're singing as an ensemble. So if I'm saying "Shamalama Lama, a dingity dingy dong," and Jessica over there saying "Shamalama Lama, a singity zingy zoo," it's not gonna flow. It's not gonna flow. So as much as you think that shamalama lama dingity dingy dong is like just like a little blip in the lyrics, it's actually very specific. And they say something different in every chorus. So you actually do have to remember that, you know? And reading that is also crazy too. You have to like actually pay attention. So anyway, Grease was fun. What was I saying? Oh, high school. I don't remember anything that happened there. I only remember the shows that I did, okay? Because I was an actor girl. I was in drama. I was a star. Okay, Lindsay of Hollywood is what I called myself. So cringy looking back on it, but hey, that was my MO. Okay, everybody knew I was an actor. Everybody knew I was a shit. I'm just kidding. People probably hated me, but that's okay because I loved doing drama. And so anything else that happened at school, in high school, as far as like learning and especially reading, girl, if you know me, you know I do not be reading. And that is not a flex, by the way. That is not something I am proud of, but I need to make it apparent to people that I am not reading books, especially in the age of book talk and how everyone is not only reading books, but they're all reading the same books. Okay. It's like you guys are all reading these fantasy novels. Like, what are they? Like, Court of Thorns or whatever. Low key, all the fucking covers for all these books, they all look the same. So there's absolutely no way I'd be able to tell a difference. Like if I can look at the cover of a book and not identify like what story it is, that's going to be a big issue for me. But again, I don't read. So, it doesn't actually apply. But I know that everyone is reading the same books these days and it's a very community based and I love that. Okay, when I'm at work, excuse me, two of the girls that I work with, they're both reading the same books. I think one of them lent her books to the other one, and they be chatting about the characters. Just be like, what part did you get to? And she'd be like, well, I just got to the part where he was accusing the mother of this and this and this and da 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 da, and they're like chatting about it. And I'm like, that seems so fun. Because if you know me, you know I have an opinion about everything, dude. I be happy. That's why this fucking podcast is called Insufferable. Because if I consume media or art or whatever, I'm gonna have something to say about it. Okay. So when they talk about that, like there's another girl at work that I chat about the House of Dragon with. Okay, the Targaryen show. That's on right now on HBO. Okay, I've been watching it. And my coworker at work, she also watches it. And we work together like 4 days a week. So I'm always like, hey, like on Monday, we're like, did you watch House of Dragon? And then we start chatting about the characters and the feral dragon with the underbite, who I love, even though it's evil or whatever. We get to chat about it. And so that's kind of the climate that we're in right now. Well, not the climate, that's kind of a, wrong word to say. But like people are really connecting through books right now. And I love that for you guys. And it's just not for me. Okay. And I have tried. Okay. Girl, I tried to read The Artist Way. Okay. Something that's supposed to improve my life. Okay. It's a cry for help. And I couldn't even finish that. Girl, I couldn't even finish that. Don't you think I want to go to the bay or to the little lagoon area and lay out a blanket on the grass with my dog and be reading a book that I know all my girlfriends are reading too, book club type shit? That sounds appealing to me. I am interested, but I can't get into it. Unfortunately, reading is not for me. And I'm going to try audiobooks. I know it's kind of fake to be like, oh, yeah, I read Court of Thorns, which really just means that I listen to it in the car to and fro work, whatever. But like some people have to listen to audiobooks. You know what I mean? Some people have kids, some people have long jobs that they have to read at their jobs. So do they want to read, recreationally when they get home? Who fucking knows? Okay. No shade on audiobooks. Okay. Frankly, I'd like to do voiceovers for audiobooks. I think that could be fun. And you know what that would cause me to do? Read the book. I would have to read the book if I was doing audio of it with my voice. You know what I mean? Maybe that's the loophole that I needed. So yeah, yeah, my brain is like running a mile a minute. Anyways, yes. So anyway, I did not read the Odyssey in high school, and if I did, I don't remember. I don't remember. And I think I would remember, like, seeing the themes of the story now, like, it seems like it was something I would remember. The only fucking book I remember reading in high school was The Great Gatsby. Great Gatsby. Plot. I have to remind myself what that was about. F. Scott Fitzgerald, 1925 novel about Jay Gatsby, Nick Carraway, and Daisy Buchanan. It follows a young man who moves to New York and watches his wealthy neighbor throw huge parties to win back a lost love, ending in tragedy. I don't even remember the end. I don't even remember the end. What was the tragedy? Give me the spoiler. Story and plot broken down. I'm so pissed at AI overview, dude. That this motherfucker doesn't even tell the truth half the time. But hey, we're gonna read it right now. Nick Carraway rents a house in West Egg. That's a place next to the rich and mysterious Jay Gatsby. Okay, Gatsby uses Nick to meet Daisy Buchanan, Nick's cousin, who is married to the rude and wealthy Tom Buchanan. Okay. Gatsby and Daisy used to be in love years ago before he became rich through illegal bootlegging. Classic. And Daisy hits and kills Tom's lover, Myrtle, with Gatsby's car, but Gatsby takes the blame. Myrtle's husband, George, then shoots Gatsby and kills himself. Now I gotta watch this movie again. I think they made the movie with Leo D, if I'm not mistaken. There's probably a bunch of them, actually. The Great Gatsby. Oh, yeah, it's that meme. It's that meme. Okay, 2013. That was a long time ago. Long time ago. Okay. This is the only book that I recall reading, and obviously I did not retain the information. So, did I read the Odyssey? It seems as though I did not at this moment, but who knows, really. Hold, please. Okay, where was I? Actually, where was I? Hold on, I was gone for a moment there, guys. The Odyssey. Okay, I loved it. I don't know if that was where I was going, but that's where I ultimately will end up in this episode. We're talking about the Odyssey as much as I possibly can because I have not had the time to do the research that I need to do. Okay. And as you guys know, I like movies that make you think and wonder and like be like, what the hell is going on? And that is what this movie did to me because I did not read the original story. Okay. And the original story is 24 books long. Okay. Let's not forget that. Um, he See, I don't even know where to begin because I have not been able to sit down and break down for myself the stories within the Odyssey. Um, in my personal opinion, surface level, not a huge fan of Odysseus. Okay. I think that he takes an incredibly long time to learn lessons, which we all do. It's just difficult to watch in a movie. Um, but you know what? I found something interesting about the term Zeus's law. Okay. Now, let me look this up to make sure I'm getting it exactly correct. Zeus's law. No, do not use my location. Um as I understand and how it confirmed to me just now with this search, Zeus's law is that you treat every person you meet with the utmost dignity and respect because they could very well be a god in disguise. Okay, it says here Zeus's law, known in ancient Greek culture as Xenia, is a sacred, unwritten rule of hospitality that commanded hosts to treat travelers and strangers with absolute respect, protection, and generosity. You must welcome any stranger into your home, providing food, drink, and a safe place to rest before you even ask their name or why they traveled. Guests must show deep respect to the host, avoiding abusing their kindness, and never overstay your welcome. So, oh my God, dude, I'm so tired. Why am I so tired? The idea of Zeus's law is, and let me remind you, I only know of Zeus's law as of like the last week. Like I think I saw, um, what you call it, the Odyssey on Wednesday last week. So, it's only been about 5 days since I seen it. And so I barely just learned about that law. But that is low key how I've lived my entire life, okay? I live my entire life in that in so many ways that I think being sneaky about stuff is going to backfire on you like in some kind of way. And to the point where like I used to think like, when this is such a random example, but do you know when there's issues in office spaces where people are eating other people's lunches out of the fridge? Like someone is straight up like, you bring your lunch to work, you put it in the office fridge, and you go to eat your lunch at noon or whatever, and someone straight up ate your lunch. Okay. And it continues to happen. I mean, these stories, this has happened. You know what I mean? This is actually book 25 of the Odyssey. Okay. Um, in my brain chemistry, I would never eat someone else's lunch. And here's why. I have this debilitating thought that everyone else's lunch or drinks are medicated and that I will suffer the consequences of eating their lunch because I will have ingested their medication, and it's actually a very specific medication that I shouldn't take. Like I'm allergic to it or I just don't need it. You can't just be taking medications that aren't prescribed to you. I mean, I know some of you do, but that's not really something that you can do. So, in my brain chemistry, since I was a young child, I assumed that everyone else's food and drink was laced with medication that they needed. And that if I snuck around and ate their shit, that I would get sick from ingesting their medication. Okay? That's me. That's my logic as a 5-year-old. And I have stood I have been with that logic my entire life, okay? It's many years later, I still think that way, okay? Do I think people are putting medication in their beans and rice in the fridge? No, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. The point is still the same. The point is still the same that you shouldn't be eating other people's shit. You shouldn't be sneaking around and stealing shit. Also, too, my friend's dad in high school, they had a pool in their backyard, and he used to tell me, or was it her mom? They used to say, "Oh, actually, like we have some chemical in this pool that if you pee in the pool, the water like will turn purple with the pee. So if you pee in this pool, which I would never pee in a pool, I will pee in the ocean, but you will not catch me peeing in a pool that has like it's in someone's backyard. I would never do that. I would never do that. But apparently people do that all the time. People just be peeing in pools. I mean, it seems like everybody needs to read the Odyssey. So anyway, I knew she was joking, but at the same time, sometimes you have to plant that seed in people's minds that they can't get away with doing bad shit in private. You know, you can't pee in my pool because we're going to know it's you because there's going to be a stream of purple water coming out of your crotch. Okay. Everyone's going to know it was you. And you are going to suffer the consequences of that action, aka peeing in my pool. So I knew she was joking when she said that, but I was like, that's a good thing to tell people, like to make sure that they don't do anything bad. Okay. So that's why I love this idea of Zeus's law and how anybody could be any beggar on the street, or what do they call him in this movie? Well, beggar, but plate liquor. Plate liquor is a crazy derogatory term, by the way, because that implies that you're so hungry you're licking your fucking plate. Like, come on. La- I hate classism, dude. I hate a classism situation. I hate the fact that there is a queen wearing diamonds, and in the same room there is a beggar who looks like the end times of Cricket from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, literally just wanting people's leftovers. You know what I mean? Like that shit pisses me off. But anyway, um also there's an instant and hey, there is an instance of Zeus's law in the origin story of the Beauty and the Beast, which you can probably find an episode of me talking about Beauty and the Beast on this is before I ever seen this movie The Odyssey and ever knew about Zeus's law. Okay, I know I have spoke about why Beauty and the Beast is one of my favorite princess movies from back in the day. And it's because a witch comes to the castle, the rich man's castle, the rich man who has plenty to offer a starving woman, and she disguises herself as um hold on, let me type it in here. Uh Prince's story origin Beauty and the Beast. Losing his father at a young age, being raised by a queen who fought to protect him in the realm. What the fuck? Oh, this is from 1740. When the prince rejected her sexual advances, behavior. Whoa. Okay, it seems like the original story was a little bit different, but basically, she is either a witch or like some kind of goddess or something. And she disguises herself as an ugly old like plate licker. Okay, a beggar. And she comes to his castle and she asks him for food and shelter. And he's like, "No, cuz you're ugly as fuck." He literally says that to her. He says, "Girl, you are ugly as fuck and you're not coming in my house and I'm not giving you any of my food cuz you're nasty, girl. You're not a baddie. Get out of town. You can't come in my 14 bedroom castle, 14 bedroom, 12 bath castle. Okay, I have a west wing. We don't have room for you though. Okay?" And after he rejects her, she is pissed. She reveals herself as a witch or goddess or whatever she ends up being. And then she curses him and turns him into a damn beast. Okay? Okay, here we go. The classic princess story in Beauty and the Beast features a selfish young royal cursed by an enchantress for lacking inner kindness, requiring true love to break the spell. Okay, so his odyssey in the Beauty and the Beast is literally him trying to get someone to love him, and that proves to be very difficult because he is not a lovable guy. Okay, whether he's pissed about being a beast or not, he's not a lovable guy, and it's genuinely like, kind of embarrassing of him that he would even sorry, I'm trying to click on stuff and now I can't fucking focus. Okay, there we go. Where was I? He's a bad guy. Okay. And if he lived by Zeus's law, he would have brought that old woman in, the enchantress. He would have brought her in and fed her. And then she probably would have blessed him with something else. She probably would have been like, "Oh, since you helped me, and you were selfless and kind, um, I'm going to bless you with a huge dick. Yeah, you're not going to have a problem finding a wife because you're kind already. And now you're fucking packing, bro." And then she'd dap him up, and then that would be the fucking story. Okay. If he was living by Zeus's law. Okay. It's kind of difficult to live by Zeus's law in this day and age as a woman. You know what I mean? We actually have to assume that everyone is a demon when you meet them. You can't assume that they are a goddess or a god. Um, mostly God. If a man comes up to me talking about I'm hungry, I have to assume he is a demon first because he is likely to kill me. But I'll give him food if I have it. I will, but I'm gonna keep my distance. You know what I mean? It's scary out here in these streets. But um Yeah, and then he proceeds to detain a woman in his castle for many, many moons. It's crazy. So anyway, Zeus's law, I really do. I like that I learned about that during this. I'm going to be learning a lot more about the Odyssey in this, but it's kind of difficult to see a man go through such trials and tribulations. And I think the thing that was worse, that made him worse off, was going with his gut. Okay. I think we all know that men do not have intuition and they do not have gut instincts. Okay. Their gut instincts are almost always incorrect. Okay. Men need to go off of physical proof. And even then, they usually still don't get it. And no offense to you guys, and no offense. But when he went into the cave where the Cyclops was living, peacefully, by the way, um, and he saw all the cheese hanging up, and he started eating the cheese. And then one of his mates was like, "Oh, we shouldn't be eating the cheese. Like, we need to make sure, like, whoever's like, because the Cyclops wasn't in there at that time. They're like, we need to make sure, like, who's making the cheese. We need to ask before we go and start eating this artisan cheese." And he's like, Zeus's law. So he's living by Lucy, he's living in Zeus's law, being like, everyone should assume I'm a good guy and I can go ahead and take anything that I want when I want it. And they should let me do that because of Zeus's law. Even though Zeus's law here does state that you need to show respect to the host, avoid abusing their kindness, and never overstay your welcome. He's not abiding by that, is he? No, he thinks Zeus's law applies to him and not to others. Everyone needs to assume that he is a good guy, and he's gonna go ahead and eat this artisan fucking sheep cheese or goat cheese or whatever. I think it was sheep that they were in there. Okay. And as it turns out, the Cyclops, he's just a baby at the end of the day. He is just a baby hanging out in a cave, keeping sheep and making artisan cheese. Okay. Sure, he picked up one of your guys and ate him because you guys were in his house. Okay. It's called self-defense. Okay. I think they had the stand your ground law back in these days in 10,000 BC or whatever the fuck. When did this take place? I don't know. I probably sounded really dumb saying that, but who cares? The Cyclops did not deserve to have his home invaded by a bunch of fuck ass men who, frankly, can't learn a lesson, even if it's right in front of their face. And it's crazy too, because they're aware that the gods are teaching them active lessons. Okay. They know when they get on that sea that Poseidon is pissed. Okay. Because fucking fuck ass Matt Damon, and no offense to Matt Damon, Odysseus. Odysseus? Is that his fucking name, bruh? What is the story of the Odyssey? It follows the Greek king Odysseus and his 10-year journey home. And 10 years wasn't long enough, honestly. And you barely learned your fucking lesson by the end of that 10 years. You know what I mean? And you was cheating? And you was cheating on an island with Charlize Theron? And you thought you was going to get back to your wife who is waiting for you? And that's why, hey, the lesson is don't be a ride or die, girl. Don't be a ride or die, because your man is out there shooting babies in caves, eating free cheeses, and cheating on you with Charlize Theron. Okay, you did not have to wait for him, even though it was kind of romantic. And he did wear the pin. I didn't see the pin. Actually, I need to watch it again. Was he wearing that pin? Or did he just have it in his pocket? He had a fucking memento of everyone he wrecked in the fucking on the journey. He said, "Sorry you died. I'm gonna take your necklace to remember you." Bitch. The fuck? I don't know. Odysseus kind of pissed me off the entire time. And I think that might be the theme of it, Like, I know the story is about ego death after ego death after ego death. And this is something that men specifically have to go through. I mean, every woman can do an ego death too. It's always nice to self-reflect and make sure that you are not being like a fuck ass person. And you're not ruining other people's lives like constantly. Okay. That's kind of being human 101. But he roped his whole fucking team into it. And his team wasn't even good guys either. But they knew he knew he was leading them into some fuck ass shit. And they were like, come on, bro. Come on, bro. You're being crazy. And I can't believe he shot the Cyclops guy in the eye. It was so unnecessary. He's just a fucking baby making cheese. Like, seriously, he did not deserve that. And that shit pissed me off heavy, bro. Heavy. And you know what, too? He puts his bow together or whatever, strings the bow or whatever you do with the fucking bow. And then he plucks it as to warn his enemies. But he does not pluck it before he shoots the Cyclops in the eye. And that's fucked up, dude. That really hurt my heart heavy. I ain't gonna lie, the Cyclops part really fucked me up. It fucked me up. I was like, why'd you shoot that baby? Why, because he's big? Like, what the fuck is wrong with you, bro? And he's raising sheep and he lets them out every day to graze. And then they come back and they stay in the cave with them. And they had a good thing going on, him and those sheep. And not only did you traumatize and brutalize this fucking Cyclops, think of all the sheep having to listen to that Cyclops scream. Which brings me to my next point. The movie was too loud. The movie was too loud. I know it's like, it was effective. The volume was too much for me. I found myself plugging my ears for like 2 minutes at a time when they was on the fucking sea and Poseidon was fucking them all up. As he should. Okay, shout out Poseidon. You ain't gonna catch me on no water. Even though I did go kayaking yesterday and the whole time I was thinking like, Poseidon, we good, right? You and I, it was the back bay. It wasn't even like, the ocean. It was just the back bay, but I was still scared. I don't like the ocean, bro. I don't fucking like it, and no offense to it. And I know it's beautiful, and I know that, we don't know what's in there, and frankly, we shouldn't be in there. We shouldn't be in there. Some people want to go in there and they want to discover things. Shout out to you. You will not catch me diving under no damn water. I did enjoy kayaking, but that's about as far as I'll go. And I only in a bay as well. So the movie was too loud. The Cyclops screaming in pain after he got shot in the face. And Poseidon. And frankly, the siren song that we didn't even get to hear, like, it still was pretty intense scene. So that is a major complaint that I had about the film. And that's just a complaint on that's not even a critique, bro. That's just me being like, damn, I couldn't really handle that. I couldn't really handle the fucking volume on that. It was crazy. And my other complaint, which is a serious complaint, actually, there was too many actors in it. There was too many actors in the fucking movie. I don't like movies that have every fucking actor you can think of in your brain all in the same movie. I don't like it. I don't know why I don't like it either. There's just something about it that takes me out of it. Like in high school, when you go to see the high school play and it's everyone that you know. Frank is, can you hear him? You all right there, pal? He was just barking in his sleep. Oh, poor guy. Oh. Okay, sorry for that. When you go to see the high school play and the hero in the play is the school bully, come on, bro. Come on, bro. Don't play with me right now. It's kind of it takes it out. It takes you out of it. It breaks the fourth wall when there are too many actors in a movie. Okay? Casting, I can't really say much about casting because I don't really know these characters that much. I haven't read these stories. I've been wanting to learn more about Greek mythology in general, so maybe I'll kind of dive into that, but I can't really say much about casting, even though I'm not really a huge fan of Anne Hathaway. Shout out to her. No offense, but I don't really like her that much. Um, but yeah, having every single actor um in one single movie does really take me out of it. Whew, excuse me. Especially a period movie. If you're going to make a period piece of any kind, you can have your star actor who's going to bring in is going to fill the seats because so and so's in the movie. But they better look like they could actually exist in that time period. A and B, they need like everyone else needs to be like an actor that we don't really know. I need someone who is not a common, like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying that it needs to be their first movie, but someone like that you don't initially recognize, give them a fucking shot. Because when I watch a movie and it's a period piece and you got fucking Zendaya in there, I fucking love Zendaya, but frankly, I don't want to see her in a period piece, dude. She's like too modern for me. And I don't mean the way she looks, I mean like who she is. Like she's so iconic. That's like trying to put Madonna in a period piece. Like why would we do that? And quite frankly, Madonna couldn't do it anyway because she has so much plastic surgery on her face now, which shout out to her and no offense to her, and no offense to Anne Hathaway either, but you all have too much Botox. You cannot emote your face. And that's not really indicative of the time frame that this movie is set in. You know what I mean? And that's just me talking shit, dude. That's just me talking shit. And no offense. 2727, what's that? But yeah, I think you should go see The Odyssey, especially if you've read the fucking books, all 24 of them. Um, I need to see it again, having learned a little bit more about the stories because I was like, what was the fucking point of this? Like, and this is exactly how I want to feel after a movie. I want to feel like, ugh, so why was this movie even made? I need someone to tell me, like, why is this movie even important? What was the original story even about? Like, that's how I want to feel after a movie. I want to have a conversation with people and I want to look up stuff and I want to read about this and research this and everything so I can better understand. Okay. That's what I like. So shout out to Christopher Nolan for making that happen for me. However, I do feel a little left out at this point. I feel left out. I was like, I'm gonna go into it like having not read the Odyssey, and I think that'll be better. But frankly, they made the movie in a way where it was like you should already know what the story is. Like we're doing a remake of a book. You have to already know what you're getting into, which I respect and no offense. Okay. So I want to read more about the Odyssey and I want to watch the movie again in the comfort of my home. I ain't watching it in no damn IMAX because it was too loud. Okay. At least in my house, I can bring it down a couple of pegs when Poseidon is ravaging all of the men. You know what I mean? It was too loud. It was too loud. But other than that, I did really like it, and I did really like how they did a lot of practical effects and with the IMAX camera and all that kind of stuff. There's only one theater around me that offers 70 millimeter screens, and and that theater fucking sucks, and I do not want to go over there. I'm not willing to watch the movie over there, unfortunately. So I did see it in regular standard. It wasn't that big of a deal, really. I didn't notice that much. Whew, there I go, yawning again. I'm so tired. How am I so tired? I don't get it. But anyway, that's going to do it for me today, you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Insufferable with me, your host, Lindsay. How And I will see you next week. Bye.